So, dear colleagues, I want to present our study, the purpose of which was to investigate how the new challenges of different nature affect the mental health and emotional well-being of people. Our work began before pandemic situation. At that time, the most important challenges of modern civilization were transitive society and network virtual space. Nowadays, we face one more serious problem. It is a COVID and pandemic situation, which add the new aspects to the challenges of transitivity and virtual space. All these factors influence the cognitive, social, and personal development of the people. The psychological content of the concept of transitivity society is associated with a multiplicity of social contexts, variability, and uncertainty. Our material allowed us to reveal two types of transitivity, crisis and fluid, which can be compared with different ways of communication, online and offline. The similarities and differences between the psychological components that determine the network and transitive space show that all of them are can be and are now, yes, a difficult life situation for many people. So our goal here was to investigate what changed in new situations in which appeared with quarantine, for what extent they became more complicated, this new situation for the people. First of all, of course, we looked through the situation with anxiety, and you see in the picture that at the beginning of quarantine, the winter 2021, it was a very high level of anxiety, and it increased before the normal period just twice. But then a little evidence, even small evidence, was about the situation, about the illness and the ways of protection. And as this information appeared, we can see that April, May, the degree of anxiety decreases. So when certainty appears, the anxiety lowers. Then it's autumn 2021, the anxiety increases again because of frustration of living space. People were tired of restrictions, masks, and so on. And so the anxiety and uncertainty also appeared. So the people began to be very anxious also again. So we may say that the most uncomfortable for well-being and emotional state for people is uncertainty. For many, especially young people, the situation led also to the psychological precariousness, because uncertainty is connected with ambiguity of a desired future, especially its material well-being in the future, as well as possibility to achieve the desired career and role identity. Then, of course, we can see that, the situation of anxiety increases the desire for to hide in a big group, to seek emotion, protection, and comfort. So at the beginning of 2020, our materials showed that the main role was in family. So the family was the most great protection for all people. But and then it was also the gender, the citizen, and so on. So big groups there were give illusion of community and emotional support from the majority, and the fact that group is informal and not personalized don't destroy the illusion. But the situation changed in 2021 when we can see that alas, the role of family decreases and decreases very much. You see in many cases it appears that negative emotional experiences is associated with relationships with nearest people, especially in cases where there are no mutual understanding and support. So we can see from the table that the role of the family reduced from the first to the third place. Also, two other places took new positive new positions. I'm the representative of my generation and my hobbies. It can be assumed that people, both young and old, see the commonality of problems and people of their age, and are looking for common achievements and safe communication with people who have shared interests with them. And the family, alas, is not always a place where loved ones share common interests. And the group of professions also rose to the higher fourth place, which, like hobbies, group of hobbies, is associated with common interests and spheres, while the group of gender identity, on the contrary, shift from second to fourth place. The most one of the most interesting ways is that the role of internet also changed. And to our previous investigation, it was proved that the leading factor in determining psychological well-being in internet is the style of informational identity. But in 2020, the information identity style was revealed only less than 24-30% of people of all ages. And at that time, elderly people trusted TV that are much more than to internet. The situation changed during quarantine because there were no significant difference in informational sources between respondents of all age groups. So you can see that they seek for information in internet. They young don't see TV but adults and elderly people look for TV, but it reduced. Then we can see that all age people communicate with the help of internet, and of course also with cell phones, but it is interesting that even elderly people communicate much in internet. And so we can see that apparently when it comes to information that is important for life, not only young people, but also adults and elderly people are trying to get data from various sources, including various internet resources. Also was transformed the style of informational identity. It is very important. In the middle of 2021, nearly 64% of elder and 56 of young people had informational identity style, so it raised very much, and all people began to seek information from various sources and watch news at different channels and start what is most important to classify it. We suppose that if they wish to sort different information and to understand is it real or not, true or fake, changed the style of informational identity. The new way of life replaced not only communication, but also leisure activities and forms of realization, old hobbies. So we can see that all began to chatting with friends, parents, and parents, watching the films and even dining together in internet. And the young people also facilitated their emotional state by the fact that they were more able to find a substitute for real communication and spending their leisure time. And we know that they even play and dance with on the Zoom parties and so on. So that's why this new situation on pandemic changed the attitude to technology. At the beginning of 2020, we asked people and divided them into 4 groups. Group 1 is young people, and B, it's elder people, and group 2 elder people. Group 1 A, it's a group of the people who dealt with technology, and B, it was the group of the people who didn't have enough experience in technologies. In 2021, group B just disappeared because there were no people who have no experience of interaction with technology. So as it was mentioned above, mainly changed their attitude to internet, and young and you can say and elderly people just approve and have a good attitude, a very good attitude to internet. And the new forms of communication and movement also were approved by the majority of people of all the ages. What is interesting that the attitude to, as you see, medical techniques also raised, especially with the group of elderly people, though the capacities of medicine in general were not highly rated by all respondents. And as robots don't have any influence in this situation, the attitude to them did not change. So the last, which were we saw, it was a attitude to the people of my own and foreign culture. And what is interesting that expansion of different forms of communication does not decrease the ambivalence attitude to strangers. Apparently, the introduction of multicultural environment in the pandemic increase alienation, but not much. So you can see that foreign culture attitude to the people of foreign culture did not very much changed. It's nearly half of the people have the negative attitude. But what is interesting, really changed the attitude to the people of my own and my own culture. It's decreased positive attitude and increased the attitude, increased, of course, negative attitude. We can see that maybe this is due to more close connections with the people of my own culture, my neighbors, maybe in internet and at home. So we can see that the positive attitude to some people connected with the changes in daily routine, are connected with the changes in daily routine which affected work communications with family and friends, and even less activities at the quarantine period. Such a long social cultural variability leads to the actualization of the desire for peace and stability. People are tired of uncertainty and quarantine. They want to hide from this in their everyday life in the group of people close to them in values and aspirations. So we can conceive the psychology of the psychology of everyday time, of everyday life can be a peculiar strategy of coping with the new situation. But of course, it must be investigated more thoroughly and longer. So thank you for your attention.